Thank you, Minister, and thank you, Mike. NEC, of course, one of today's key event partners, helping us to deliver the summit. A summit which has been 2 years in the making, but after a COVID-induced pause, it's truly a delight to be here at CommBank Stadium. CBA, of course, another event partner of ours, along with the New South Wales Government, and we're very grateful for their support of today's event and all of our sponsors. For those of you who've not met me, I was earlier unkindly introduced by my colleague Adam Leto, but I'm Brett Towers. I'm the Head of Partnerships and Marketing at the Western Sydney Leadership Dialogue, and I'm far more accustomed to being on that side of the stage than centre stage. So go easy on me. I'm actually the understudy's understudy, so it's a pleasure, it's a delight to be here today. But one of the advantages of working behind the scenes is that I've been part of that curation team, which has been able to watch the program's content evolve over the last couple of years, and working with our partners to deliver their expert insights and to tell their compelling stories. And you know, the following case study is one such story, which was brought to our attention about 18 months ago. It's an exemplar of Western Sydney ingenuity, of innovation, and a partnership with Australia's largest financial institute. To present the appropriately titled case study, How Can an Emerging Western Sydney Company Revolutionise Transport and Save the Planet? I'd like to invite to stage Lisa Ang, Executive Manager of Commercial Banking from CBA, Scott Dunn, Managing Director of Custom Denning Group, and Helen Hamilton-James, who's the Managing Partner of Western Sydney of Deloitte, who will be the session's provocateur. As our guests are taking their seats, come up on stage, guys. We're going to play a short video on how Western Sydney's custom denning started its innovation revolution. Thank you.
Here at Custom Bus, we're building Australia's only 100% made electric bus here in Western Sydney. My roots are nuts and bolts, and I've always wanted to manufacture vehicles from day one. So when Custom Bus come into administration in 2018, it was a perfect opportunity for me. Never thought I had enough money to buy it, but with the backing of CBA, that opportunity came about, and literally borrowed almost all the money to buy this business. CommBank believed in the vision and provided the financial support to help make it happen.
Custom Bus is a story of a guy, Scott Dunn. It was a vision, it was an idea, and I'm very proud to be a part of the bank supporting our customers in Western Sydney.
When COVID hit last year, we engineered, designed and built the element. We've managed to get a range of basically over 20 hours a day and up to 500 kilometres, which is phenomenal, and it's the best range of any bus in the world. We cut, fold, weld a sheet of metal or a piece of tube and then create a vehicle from nothing. And within 35 days it comes from a piece of steel to a vehicle on the roads of Sydney. So a lot of people think you do it for money. I've never worked for money. I work because I enjoy what I do. I do this today because I love it. And the rewards I get, and to create jobs and apprentices and the importance we can be to St Mary's, this is a dream for me. People don't believe you when they say you don't do it for money, but it's true. I do it because I'm trying to make a difference and trying to create something that's a legacy. We've got to leave this world better than we started it, I believe. And electric vehicles are the key to that, one key. I mean, that's one big step to reducing our carbon footprint.
Welcome, Scott. Welcome, Lisa. We've talked a lot this morning about the importance of creating jobs, about the importance of innovation, adding value, of the role that the private sector has in the future of Western Sydney. I'm sure you'll join me in agreeing that this is a phenomenal story of success in all of those areas. And I'm lucky enough to be able to chat to Scott and Lisa and learn a little bit more about their partnership and what happened. So, Scott, if I can ask you, first of all, obviously a phenomenal success story in manufacturing in Western Sydney. So congratulations. Maybe you could just tell us a little bit more about, how did you achieve it, and what were the secrets to your success? What are the secrets to your success?
Okay, so I could probably talk about 60 minutes about this at least, but I'll shorten it to about 5. And without talking about myself too much. So 2 things really. It's my background, where I've come from. I've evolved over the last 35 years, and also the people that I've managed to pull together in St. Mary's and to create this product. So just a little bit about myself. Unusual background. I started as a diesel mechanic. So buses, trucks, diesel is in my veins. From 5 years old, I lived in a bus depot. And literally grew up with buses all my life. Left school at 15 and just wanted to be the best what I could be at anything I did. So that was about being a diesel mechanic. So my great-grandfather was a mechanic. My grandfather, my dad was a mechanic. We were all mechanics. So it was always in my blood. Yeah. And my life has been then, I evolved into operating vehicles in the UK and later in Australia. But it was never enough. I always wanted to build something, feel like you're leaving something behind. It's okay operating vehicles, but it's a service-led industry. A good day, you don't get complaints. Yeah, that's what it's like with transport. But you manufacture, you build something, you're actually leaving something behind. You're creating something that can be different. You can compete on a global scale. And for me, custom bus coming into administration in 2018, couldn't really afford it, but I made sure I did somehow with the help of CBA. And we bought administration. Straight away, it was based in Villawood. I was determined to move it west. So we moved it to St. Mary's. We had 3 weeks to move the business. We moved it to St. Mary's. And that was the first challenge. It was then I was going to make this business different in this market. We were just a bodybuilder. So Customs always built bodies for 65 years, the oldest in Australia, but never built chassis. They always relied on European or Chinese imports to build a body on. So it was about then changing that business. So we was leading the market. And I took all that experience, I had all them years of complaining about how everybody else did it wrong, looking at vehicles, operating vehicles to create my own vehicle. And the biggest problem in Australia, we've got no manufacturing of vehicle experience except for Holden and Ford. Not heavy vehicles. We don't manufacture anything, design anything, ever. And so we had to build a team of engineers. So some of them engineers come from India, Europe, and the local guys learned and stepped up a gear. Our main surface designer is actually from Holden. So he designed Holden cars, he designed the latest Corvette for GM, things like that. So we grabbed these people and we created a team of people that created literally in 12 months from paper to being built, the first electric vehicle built in Australia, the first of any large vehicle from start to finish. And when I say start to finish, we literally, like I said on the video, we take raw material and create a vehicle. And it performs better than anything. So it's about having a lot of background and understanding what we need to do, and it's about having the best people, and that's what we've created.
I think it's about having passion as well. Your passion comes through really, really strongly, Scott. So, yeah, thank you for that. Lisa, CBA obviously saw the potential in Scott's vision. Talk to me about, how you partner with Scott in the business. What do you do differently?
Yep. Maybe I need to set the scene a little bit. And obviously you would have heard just then Scott's passion for the business and for the vision around bringing electric vehicles, Australian-built electric buses, to market. But in terms of background, I should set the scene a little bit because it wasn't a slam dunk, easy credit when he came to us. So like he said, he basically came to us, I think, around 2019. And at that time, he was looking to, he had bought the custom bus business out of liquidation. So it was a bit of a turnaround story. But what I will say is we could see something there from the get-go. And whilst there's a whole lot of factors that we would have considered in considering partnering with Custom Bus, I'd call out three key things. One, first of all, is the person. So this man that's sitting right next to me, the passion, the knowledge that he has in understanding buses, and even though Scott at that point hadn't done manufacturing before, so up until that point, your background was, like you said, very different and predominantly in bus operations. So, but we could see the passion and we could understand his expertise being able to translate into the manufacturing side. So we backed Scott for that reason. Secondly, his timing was impeccable. So right when he was talking to us was when the government came out and announced a whole lot of things around wanting to obviously transition from diesel buses to alternate technology, including electric. So by Scott, moving fast and starting early, he actually managed to bring the first fully Australian-built electric bus to market, the Element bus. And then thirdly, what I'd say is his vision. So Scott, in the video you would have seen, he has a vision around wanting to build a better future, and that's through cleaner energy buses. Now, CBA share that vision. That aligns really closely with our own environment strategy and our vision for the future. So we've always had an aligned vision with Scott, and that's part of the reason why we backed him. In terms of the second part of your question, Helen, partnership, I think, extends beyond the usual banking products and services. It's really about when the going gets tough, being able to support our businesses and also doing things that are above and beyond the usual kind of banking things. So I'll give you a couple of examples. Right at the beginning of our relationship with Scott, CBA agreed to fund building some demonstrator models of the electric buses so that Scott could take those and provide those to the bus operators to allow them to touch and feel, to test and trial those buses and prove up the technology. We knew that that was a really important part of helping him build his technology and his rapport with the end user. Secondly, during the height of the COVID pandemic, the government bus panel was closed for an extended period of time. And what that meant was there was very little income, there was very little sales coming through the door. Now, despite that, CBA actually increased our lending facilities to Custom Bus. And that was with the aim of supporting Scott and Custom Bus and making sure that they were able to get through to the other side of the pandemic. And then more recently, what we've been able to do, and this is my team in collaboration with our institutional banking team, is we've been able to put together a financing package as part of Scott's tendering submission process so that government counterparties who are looking to purchase electric buses from Scott can actually do so with the financing side already addressed and available to them. So it's really trying to make that buying process easy for Scott's customers.
Great, fantastic. Thank you, Lisa. Scott, innovation and sustainability are at the heart of your business model, as well as a great partnership with CBA. So what advice would you give to other Western Sydney-based private businesses that have a great idea that they're looking to commercialise? We did touch on that in some of the earlier panels about, we need to do more of that. So what would your advice be to people in similar situations with a vision?
Yeah, you've got to have, for me, you've got to have a differentiation. You've got to have the best product in the market. If you've got the best product, and to put it blunt, you've got big balls. You put your money where your mouth is, because one reason CBA is vested is because I'll put everything I've got into it. So my ball's on the block every day. But that's how I like business, right? And I think you've got to have the vision, you've got to have the plan, and you've got to know how to execute it. But you've got to have a market there. As long as you've got the market and you've got the idea and you've got the balls, you'll do it. You'll do it. It's as simple as that.
Excellent advice. Thank you. Lisa, what's your perspective on that?
Metaphoric, obviously. I'd say the biggest thing for CBA is we back the people who are behind the business, right? So when I look at this, when I pair everything back in our consideration for whether or not we support a business, so whether it's Custom Bus or whether it's other businesses that approach the bank, ultimately it comes down to do we believe in the vision of the owner? Do we believe in their capabilities, their character? And do we believe in ultimately the product? And I think it was all ticks from our perspective, certainly for Custom Bus.
Great. Thank you. Scott, one of the big challenges at the moment facing all businesses is recruiting and retaining the right talent. So obviously in your business, that would be particularly critical given the technical nature of what you do. And you've built your business from 6 to 160 people in a relatively short period of time. So again, what's your strategy around finding the right people and then more importantly, actually retaining them in this market?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, it's difficult, but it's not, because we're doing something different. So it's exciting for people. So even on the production line, we do a lot of job rotations, so they do different jobs. So our business is split into 3 sections, really. We've got the production line where it's assembly, where we change the jobs around. We've got manufacturing that actually manufacture the parts in advanced manufacturing, so modern lasers, press brakes, CNC machinery. So we rotate them jobs. And then we've got the engineers design side. And for me, it's difficult, but retention's easy because once you're through the door and they're excited about the business, they see the vision, they see my plans, the business plans, and retention's easy. Now, yeah, I mean, without migration, we wouldn't be able to build the product. So we have to get a lot of outside knowledge in to train local people on robots. We use robot welders. To get people that know how to weld with robots is impossible in Australia next to. So we have to get the original resource in, then we train local people. And same as, like I said earlier, vehicle design. There's not anybody in Australia doing it, so you ain't got the skill here. And then we train local engineers with the experts. Yeah, so it's hard, but you've got to make your business exciting, I think, and get people to buy into your future.
Great. And what about the role of government in supporting the business, and particularly the shift into alternate and the electric bus side of things? How do they support you? What else do you need? And then maybe if you could expand on that a little bit as well to the broader construct. We had the panel earlier where we talked about the broader electric grids, and obviously your business plays a part in that. But what could the government do to help?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, it's we can build vehicles faster than the grid can put them on charge, if I'm honest about it. So it's the restraint at the moment of the power at the bus depot. So at the moment, we've just won a 99 vehicle contract. Don't ask me why it's 99, not 100. I'm not quite sure. So it's a 99 bus contract, which takes us up to next April. So we still build diesels and electric. Our plan is from next June, we'll have no more diesels being built, and then we'll focus on electric. So what I need from anybody from government's here, this is my wish list. Right? We know vehicles got to be replaced, but what we've got to do is we've got to have that consistent demand in the market. So we need that 400 to 500 vehicles a year to grow the business, to build that the new plant we want to build in Badgerys Creek, to really innovate that next step. We're actually launching a truck in 2 months. Let's get the first ones on the road in next June to try to grow the business even further. And yeah, we just need consistent demand, because then we can create the skills, we can train people, we can create an export market. We actually export the first vehicles to the UK in November this year, we will. So we're trying to create an export market. So we've got a lot of things happening. We just need government to give that stable platform of orders rather than keep buying vehicles overseas, really. Yeah.
I'm interested in that global export. I mean, obviously what you're doing here is incredible, but it does have global reach. And you mentioned, selling into the UK. How have you approached that? And what are, again, your, I suppose, tips for others who are looking to do the same on challenges you faced and how you've beaten those challenges?
Yeah, I mean, Australia's got obviously a high labour cost, but you need to innovate your processes. So we use robots where we can in welding and process we can. The key thing is if you've got volume and people are specialised, actually your labour cost is negligible. It's like of our cost compared to materials and labour, it's about 12% of our cost. It's all materials. So I think you've got to be efficient what you do. I mean, the UK market's very easy for me anyway, because I know it better than the Australian market, if I'm honest. So it's a very easy gain for us, but we can create a lot of jobs locally. So I think you've got to make sure your processes are efficient. You've got to make sure you've got margin in it, and the market's there if you've got the right products. People will pay for a better product if they've got the warranty with it, the guarantees. I mean, one of our differentiators, is that we actually use the best battery in the world. It's a solid state battery. It's the same in a MacBook. And we know that's got 2.5 times the life of a standard lithium-ion battery. So that's one of our unique selling points when we export. It's made from stainless steel, so we know it's going to last 25 years. So these are all the things we've got a differentiator we're selling all the time. So, yeah, you've got to have a differentiator.
Thank you. Lisa, you mentioned that CBA look at the individual as a big part of their decision-making when backing a business. Are there any particular sectors or areas that that you've got a particular focus on? What's the bank's strategy around that, particularly in Western Sydney?
Yep. Let me start off by saying, sorry, in answer to your question, let me start off by saying I'm a Western Sydney bred girl. So I grew up in Western Sydney, a little bit further west, out near Blacktown Way. So certainly myself, having grown up in the area, I have a lot of confidence in the growth of the region, and that view is shared by CBA. So we're certainly very active in Western Sydney, very supportive of Western Sydney businesses. In terms of industries and sectors, I mean, CBA has a number of key industries that we specialise in. So manufacturing, wholesaling, retail, hospitality, health, not-for-profit, professional services, property and construction services. I think I've named all of it. Someone's going to hit me up afterwards and say I've forgotten something. But those are our key specialist areas where we have dedicated bankers who specialise and understand deeply those markets. And so this coincides obviously with Western Sydney's, very fortunate upcoming demographic shift. So at the moment, as we stand today, Western Sydney is the number 3 largest city within Australia, only behind Sydney and Melbourne. Now, if we fast forward by 30 years, with population growth, Western Sydney will be number 2, and we will eclipse the rest of Sydney. What that creates and what that means is a massive amount of opportunity for businesses that are operating in Western Sydney. We recognise that. It means that there's a massive customer base here, but also it means there's a huge and talented labour pool that businesses can tap. And we really do see and recognise that, and we want to support that. So we understand that there are a number of growth sectors within the region that we want to continue to support. I think my message to everyone here is, if you are looking to grow within the region, you're an up-and-coming business here, find the right trusted advisors and partners that share your long-term vision. And if there's anyone in the market for a banking partner, then CBA is definitely wanting to have a talk.
Goodness, we've got to finish on that. Look, thank you, Scott. Thank you, Lisa. It's been a pleasure to interview you both and learn more about the success of your business, Scott. And congratulations again. Really, it's we've talked about confidence. We've talked about the opportunities in Western Sydney, and Minister Ayres just got off the stage and spoke about we've got the platforms there. We now need to actually leave this room and execute on it. So I think this is a fantastic story of someone that already is executing on it. So congratulations if you could join me in thanking the panel.